Right, let me be honest with you. So you're gonna see a lot of different transformations on YouTube. Everyone's talking about numbers, everyone's talking about this, everyone's talking about that, but no one's really breaking down where the money's coming from and how the system actually works. So that's what I'm gonna do here today for you guys. The part that most people don't show you is the part that collects the cash, and that part is the sales. Because here's the truth, you can have the cleanest funnel in the world, but if the sales team aren't dialed, then the offer is gonna get broken. If there's no one on the other end that can qualify the lead, close the deal, and make sure that the process end to end is extremely systemized and also extremely effective, then the funnel will break. So a quick bit of context, this is a client that we were working with EC Group on. So they were handling the content, the ads, helping out with some of the closing, and then we were doing setter management for them and also handling every single part of recruitment as well. So the coaches I'm speaking about today are two Airbnb coaches called Deanna and Shana. They had serious organic, they had the YouTube, they had the TikTok, they had the Instagram. On paper, really, they had everything, but they were stuck. Bouncing around that kind of like 8 to 15K a month mark. It was never really like a lead problem for them. I mean, to be honest with you, they had more leads than most people that I speak to. It was a sales problem. What was actually going wrong, you're probably asking? EC Group went in, sorted out the funnel side of things, optimized the bio and pointed everything to one place. Filtered out all of the low intent leads that you get from, you know, most of the TikTok posts that you get these days. But even with a clean funnel, you're still gonna have the same questions that every coach has. Who is actually working the leads? Deanna and Shana were doing it themselves, jumping on their own sales calls, trying to coach, trying to run their Airbnb business, trying to deal source and close their own calls all at the same time, wearing about 5 hats at once. And if you're going to wear 5 hats at once, the sales is always going to be the thing that slips. Leads go cold, calls don't get booked, people don't show up. That's where I came in. My job was 2 things. 1, I recruited the entire sales team for them, all from my internal pool of vetted reps. 2 closers, 1 triage dialer, and 2 setters for both Deanna and Shana's Instagrams. Then I manage the setting operation day to day, and let me break down to you why each role matters. Because most people just think you hire a closer and then you're done. First, we had the setters. We had 2 of them, 1 on Deanna's account, 1 on Shana's account, doing warm outbound and also dealing with the inbound leads coming through. Their job was to qualify, build rapport, and then book the call. Obviously, there's a lot more that goes into it, but from a high level, that was basically their role. They're the filter. They basically make sure that the closer only speaks to people that are serious and that can actually afford the program. Then the triage dialer. So this is the bit that most people miss completely. Before a lead ever reaches the closer, a dialer qualifies them again. What they do is they basically confirm the booking, make sure they turn up, also make sure that they actually want to take action now and it's not something they want to do in 6 months. And they basically do like a little mini discovery, if you will, just to kind of warm the person up for the closer. And that one role, which is actually funny enough a role that a lot of coaching businesses don't even have, are what can kind of turn your show rate from a bit of a coin flip to actually making it predictable and hitting that at least 80% mark. And then we had the closers, 2 of them taking qualified calls and collecting cash. And because everyone above them had already done their job, the closers are walking into warm, ready to go conversations every single time. And the close rate, for example, went from around 15% to 38%. Same leads, same offer. The only thing that changed was who was handling them and how. Alex was aiding in the management day to day from EC Group, one of the founders, ensuring that everything was watertight. So in just the first 30 days of working with them, just from tightening up the sales process, getting the right people in the right positions, they went from 8K a month to 30K cash collected in 1 month. Then we ran a webinar on the back of all the dormant leads, 1,138 signups off about 1.4K in ad spend. Over 140 sales calls booked, and all the calls were qualified, by the way. And here's the important part. This only works, this kind of infrastructure, if you have the team that can actually handle the volume. 140 book calls, that means nothing if it's one burnt out founder trying to handle the burden of all of those calls. We had a full team hitting a 62% show rate on average, and the deals just kept landing. It was actually crazy just seeing the payments come through in the Discord. Now, it was a good feeling. On the 90th day of working with us, after that big webinar, and honestly, just doubling down on what actually works, they managed to do 92,000 in just a single month cash collected. So here's what I want you guys to take from this video. If you're getting leads but you're stuck, It's almost never actually a lead problem. It is a sales process problem. A funnel fills the pipe, but a sales team is what actually turns those leads into money in the bank. I'm just placing one random closer, random setter that you found in your DMs that are okay, they're good enough, but they're not great. That is not a sales team. You need a full unit of skilled individuals that are an expert in their craft. And then those individuals trained, managed, and pointed in one direction. That's exactly what I do. I build and I manage done-for-you sales teams for coaches and consultants who have already got the leads, but they're leaking them in a broken sales process. If that's you and you're sitting at like 5 figures a month mark, but you're just struggling to scale, you know you have the leads, drop me a message on Instagram, book a call in, or just follow my content and get some free value.